The air crackled with the anticipation of the adventurers gathering in Lohajung. Nestled amidst the Garhwal Himalayas, the village was the gateway to our grand adventure. I took a deep breath. The crisp mountain air filled my lungs, a mix of pine and wood smoke. Towering above us, the snow-capped peaks glistened under the early morning sun. Lohajung, with its rustic charm and friendly locals, welcomed us with open arms. The energy was palpable. We were about to embark on a journey into the heart of mystery. The village bustled with activity. Porters loaded our supplies, their seasoned hands moving with practiced ease. Mules, their coats gleaming in the sun, waited patiently for their burdens. We were a motley crew, each with our own reasons for undertaking this arduous trek, but we were united by a shared sense of adventure. The allure of the unknown, the legend of Skeleton Lake, drew us in. Our journey began on a crisp, clear morning. The sun, just peeking over the eastern peaks, cast long shadows across the path ahead. We left the last houses of Lohajung behind and stepped onto the trail. The air buzzed with the sound of cicadas, a constant reminder of the life teeming around us. Excitement bubbled within me, mixed with a healthy dose of trepidation. What lay ahead? What secrets would we uncover? Only time would tell. Leaving the village behind, we plunged into a world of emerald green. Towering oak and rhododendron trees formed a dense canopy overhead. Sunlight filtered through the leaves in dappled patterns, painting the forest floor in shifting mosaics of light and shadow. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth and pine needles. The trail wound its way through the undergrowth, sometimes steep and rocky, sometimes meandering through clearings carpeted with wildflowers. The silence of the forest was broken only by the chirping of birds and the crunch of our boots on the path. As we trekked deeper into the heart of the mountains, the air grew cooler, the sunlight dimmer. The forest seemed to close in around us, a living, breathing entity. We crossed gurgling streams, their waters crystal clear and icy cold. The sound of the water, a constant melody, accompanied our journey. Occasional glimpses of snow-capped peaks through the trees served as a reminder of our destination. The higher we climbed, the denser the vegetation became. Giant ferns unfurled their fronds, their emerald green shimmering in the filtered light. The forest whispered secrets in the rustling leaves, stories carried on the wind. As the day wore on, the forest began to change. The oaks and rhododendrons gave way to stands of coniferous trees. The air grew thinner, the silence more profound. A sense of solitude descended upon us, a welcome respite from the hustle and bustle of everyday life. We were alone with nature, surrounded by its raw beauty and untamed power. Emerging from the forest's embrace, we were greeted by a sight that stole our breath away. Bedni Bugyal, a vast expanse of emerald green meadows, stretched before us as far as the eye could see. It was like stepping into a scene from a fairy tale. The air was sweet with the scent of wildflowers, and the silence of the mountains was broken only by the gentle tinkling of cowbells in the distance. We spent the night in Bedni Bugyal, camping under a canopy of stars so bright they seemed close enough to touch. The air was crisp and cold, but the warmth of our sleeping bags and the camaraderie of fellow trekkers kept the chill at bay. As I lay there, gazing up at the Milky Way splashed across the night sky, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. The world seemed to fall away, and all that remained was the vastness of the mountains and the quiet whisper of the wind. The next morning we continued our journey, our spirits soaring as high as the Himalayan griffins circling overhead. We traversed Ali Bugyal, another breathtaking meadow adorned with wildflowers. The majestic Trishul Massif, its snow-capped peaks piercing the heavens, dominated the horizon. Its presence, awe-inspiring and humbling, served as a constant reminder of the raw power of nature. These meadows, a riot of color and life, were a stark contrast to the barren landscape that awaited us higher up. We spent hours soaking in the beauty of our surroundings, capturing the memories in our minds and our cameras. The air was filled with the hum of insects and the chirping of birds, a symphony of nature that filled us with a sense of peace and contentment. But the allure of the unknown, the mystery of Skeleton Lake, beckoned us onward. Leaving the verdant meadows behind, we began our final ascent towards Roopkund. The landscape transformed dramatically. Gone were the lush meadows and vibrant wildflowers. We entered a realm of rock and ice, a stark and unforgiving environment. The air grew thinner with every step, making each breath a conscious effort. The trail became steeper, often disappearing under patches of snow. The pristine white surroundings, while breathtakingly beautiful, were a stark reminder of the challenges that lay ahead. The air was thin and cold, biting at any exposed skin. The only sounds were the crunch of our boots on the snow and our own heavy breathing. We climbed in single file, our pace slow and steady. The physical exertion was demanding, but the sheer beauty of our surroundings fueled our determination. Towering peaks, their summits lost in clouds, surrounded us on all sides. Glaciers, ancient and massive, glistened under the midday sun. We were dwarfed by the immensity of the mountains, yet strangely exhilarated by their power. As we climbed higher, the vegetation disappeared altogether. The only signs of life were the occasional Himalayan chus, their bright red beaks a splash of color against the monochrome landscape. The air grew colder, the wind more insistent. The sun, though bright, offered little warmth. We were approaching the roof of the world, a place where few dared to venture. And at the end of this arduous climb lay our destination, the enigmatic Roopkund Lake. Finally, after days of arduous trekking, we stood on the shores of Roopkund Lake. The sight that greeted us was both awe-inspiring and eerie. The lake, nestled in a bowl-shaped valley surrounded by snow-capped peaks, was frozen solid, and scattered around its edges, half buried in the ice and snow, lay hundreds of human skeletons. The air was thin and cold, the silence broken only by the whistling wind. A palpable sense of mystery hung heavy in the air. Who were these people? What brought them to this remote corner of the Himalayas, and how did they meet their end? These questions swirled in my mind as I gazed upon the skeletal remains, their hollow sockets staring back at me across the centuries. The skeletons, bleached white by the sun and wind, were in various states of preservation. Some were almost complete, their bones still held together by ligaments. Others were scattered, their bones disarticulated and scattered by the elements. Some still had strands of hair clinging to their skulls, while others clutched bits of clothing or jewelry. It was a scene straight out of an Indiana Jones movie, both fascinating and macabre. The silence was broken only by the crunch of our boots on the frozen ground and the occasional gasp of astonishment from my fellow trekkers. We moved among the skeletons with a mixture of awe and reverence, careful not to disturb the remains. The sunlight glinted off the ice, casting long, eerie shadows across the lake and the skeletons surrounding it. It was a scene I would never forget, etched forever in my memory. Whispers from the past, unraveling the mystery. The mystery of the Roopkund skeletons has captivated explorers and scientists for decades. Numerous theories have been proposed, each attempting to explain the presence of these remains in this remote and unforgiving landscape. Local legends offer their own interpretations, adding a layer of folklore and mystique to the enigma. Scientific analysis of the skeletons suggests they belong to people from diverse backgrounds, some dating back to the 9th century AD. One prevailing theory posits that a large group of pilgrims caught in a sudden and severe hailstorm perished at the lake. The hail, described as hard as iron balls in local lore, would explain the traumatic injuries found on many skulls. Another theory suggests the skeletons belong to a king and his entourage who died while returning from a pilgrimage. This narrative, deeply intertwined with local folklore, speaks of a king who angered the mountain goddess Nanda Devi by entering her sanctuary. As punishment, she unleashed a furious hailstorm, decimating the entire group. While scientific investigations continue to piece together the puzzle, the legends surrounding Roopkund endure. These stories, passed down through generations, serve as a reminder of the power of nature and the importance of respecting its sanctity. Whether scientific or mythical, the stories of Roopkund add another layer of intrigue to this already fascinating location. Reflecting on the journey, the descent. Leaving the haunting beauty of Roopkund Lake behind, we began our descent. As we retraced our steps, the landscape seemed to shift once more. The snow-covered peaks, once our destination, now stood as silent guardians watching over our journey back to civilization. The thin air, which had challenged our every breath, now filled our lungs with renewed vigor. Descending through the same landscapes we traversed earlier, we were struck by a sense of accomplishment. We had tested our limits, both physical and mental, and emerged from the experience transformed. The challenges we had faced, the breathtaking beauty we had witnessed, had left an indelible mark on our souls. The memory of the Roopkund skeletons stayed with us, a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring power of nature. The mystery surrounding their fate, still not fully understood, served as a reminder of the many secrets the Himalayas hold. We descended from the mountains with a newfound respect for the power of nature and the resilience of the human spirit. As we made our way back through the emerald forests and verdant meadows, we carried with us not just memories, but also a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. The Roopkund trek had been more than just a physical journey. It had been a journey of self-discovery, a pilgrimage to a place where the boundaries between myth and reality blurred, leaving us forever changed. The enduring allure of Roopkund. The Roopkund trek is not for the faint of heart. It is a challenging journey that demands physical endurance, mental fortitude, and a deep respect for the mountains. But for those who dare to make the pilgrimage, the rewards are immeasurable. The breathtaking scenery, the unique ecosystem, and the enduring mystery of the Skeleton Lake combine to create an experience that is both humbling and profound. The trek to Roopkund is a journey into the heart of the Himalayas, a region where ancient cultures and modern-day adventurers converge. It is a place where the boundaries between myth and reality blur, where the past and present intertwine. And at the heart of it all lies Roopkund Lake, a silent sentinel guarding its secrets, waiting for the next generation of explorers to unlock its mysteries. More than just a trek, the journey to Roopkund is a pilgrimage, a quest for self-discovery. It is a journey that challenges us physically and mentally, pushing us to our limits and beyond. But in the process, it reveals to us the true nature of our own strength and resilience. It reminds us that we are but small beings in a vast and awe-inspiring universe. A call to preservation. As more and more people are drawn to the allure of Roopkund, it becomes increasingly crucial to prioritize the preservation of this unique and fragile ecosystem. The impact of tourism on the region is undeniable, and it is our collective responsibility to ensure that future generations can experience the magic of Roopkund without causing further damage. Sustainable tourism practices such as waste management, responsible trekking, and respecting local customs are essential to minimize our footprint. Education and awareness among trekkers about the importance of conservation are paramount. We must tread lightly on this sacred land, leaving behind nothing but footprints and taking nothing but memories. The Himalayas are facing increasing pressure from climate change and human activity. Glaciers are receding, weather patterns are changing, and the delicate balance of this ecosystem is under threat. It is our duty to advocate for the protection of this region, to support initiatives that promote responsible tourism and conservation efforts. The future of Roopkund, and indeed the entire Himalayan region, depends on our actions today. Let us strive to be responsible stewards of this magnificent landscape, ensuring that its beauty and mystery continue to inspire generations to come.